Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon and I'm back again with another movie review. I just recently watched With Great Power yesterday, which is a documentary about none other than Stan Lee. And I knew quite a few things about Mr. Liebowitz just because I've been a huge fan of his since I was a little kid. And I never really grew out of being a Marvel nerd, but DC was definitely my first love in comics, particularly Wonder Woman, and then I got into Catwoman and Batman. Those were my acme of comics at the time, and later on I got introduced to Marvel, and I've liked just a variety of comics growing up, and I've never really stopped reading. But it talks about the highs and lows of Stan's life, and of course I remember the accusations, the error that was made within Stanley Entertainment, and of course he had to lay people off and he hated it, but over time you can just see how much of a salt of the earth type of human being he really is. And he wanted Jack Kirby to get all the credit because he was working as a comic illustrator and there were only two other people in the building and Jack Kirby was one of them, and it was called World Comics or something like, I can't remember the actual name, maybe that was the correct name, but Jack actually could envision something so perfectly that it just seemed to leap from the page. And then Stan had his own ideas, and Jack always felt like he played second fiddle to Mr. Liebowitz, and it was really sad, and Stan always felt guilty about that, and he gave Kirby his just due, just demonstrating how humble he was, how magnanimous he was. He wanted everybody to have a piece of the pie, and he was like a grandpa to a lot of people and a father figure. And I learned that they had two daughters, but the other daughter unfortunately died. She died at 7 days of age, and I wonder what kind of condition she had to have died so quickly. And they never went into it. They don't like talking about it. Not that I blame them, because the loss of a child is the most difficult thing a parent can undergo, and it still bewilders me to this day that there's no word in the English language that actually has a designation for people who lose children. But there were more good times than there were bad times, and it seems that the so-called overnight success of Marvel really was not an overnight success. And if you're like me and you're a huge fan of Stan's and you consider him your idol, and it's unfortunate because I would have wanted to have met this man. I love him so much. I feel like he was a part of my family. And he was truly marvelous, pardon the pun. He was splendid, spectacular. There are just so many adjectives that could sum up the character and integrity of Mr. Liebowitz. And even though I never knew him, but I feel like in a sense through the characters I'm actually meeting him over and over again. And he tackled a lot of and he's still tackling a lot of topics, even though it's done posthumously through other people, especially through Disney now. But this documentary is utterly fascinating, and it was spectacularly done. It was absolutely stellar, astronomical. And I'm glad I finally had the chance to see it, because I had meant to see it before, but never really had the chance to do it in the cinema, which I would have wanted to, but oh well, better late than never. So as far as the movie is concerned, it's two thumbs way up. No contesting, no bitching, nothing. Perfect all the way through from stem to stern. Grading the film in and of itself 5 stars, hands down. It's one of the best biopics I've seen in a good long time, and I rate it up there with other movies that I've seen of this caliber, and they did everything right, including just with the very modest beginnings of Marvel Comics and of themselves, and how basically Stan, when he got the opportunity to uproot his family from New York to move to Los Angeles, he literally leapt at the chance, but his family went along with it. It just shows how much of a bond he and his wife really had, this whole family, and how closely knit they are, and how they do everything as a team. And that kind of camaraderie, friendship, and devotion, it still does exist in this world, and it gives me hope too. But that's about all I have to say for now. So until next time, live long, prosper.